I am Maharlikan. Magandang araw mga kamaharlikan, naway nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan at maayos na pangangatawan. Isang interview na naman ang huling naganap mula sa Galactic Group na pinangungunahan nina Radhaa Nilia of Galactic GODDEST TV, Radhaa Publishing House at Maya the Shaman created the original video. Thank you, Radhaa of Galactic GODDEST TV at Maya the Shaman, for granting permission to republish your video, and don't forget to subscribe to Radhaa Nilia's channel called Galactic GODDEST TV. Maraming salamat po.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to Lemuria Ascension Mother Earth Roundtable. I'm Radhaa Nilia, and I'm so honored to be here today with my co-host, Maya the Shaman.
Yeah, thank you. And of course, we have again our beloved Queen Helen Abdurajak. And welcome again. So I have a question for you. The first question, dear Queen, is that you have spoken up boldly and very frank about a lot of things. And do you hold a power that can surpass that or them in terms of you ruling as a queen?
Yes. Once you are anointed by God, by Allah, by Buddha, or whatever the name that he has into the human race, then I could barely say that I have the power that can surpass them all. Because before I was born, I am anointed, I am appointed, that I am the queen in this new era. So therefore, I can surpass any powers, because as the queen of the universal magnum, that means 7 layers up, 7 layers below, and the entire global earth, as I am also appointed, anointed by our forefathers as the queen of the global earth. Other than that, I have gained a lot of titles that gave me that power and authority, particularly as the queen of finance, who holds the gold, who holds the oil, the diamond, the sovereignty, is the most powerful one. And that is primarily why the global earth and the superpowers are blocking me all along since 2009. Yes, I do have the power.
Thank you, Radha.
Yeah, so you started your humanitarian mission over 14 years ago, approximately 2009. Could you expand on your mission for anybody who's just tuning in? And then the second part is that because you've said yes to this mission, you have suffered terribly and experienced so many blockages and pushback. And is there any regret in accepting this huge mission?
I never regret into this mission, because when you obey the creator of your life, then there is no more room for regrets. Because in this mission, either you are whole or you are partially, or you don't have to say yes at all. Those people that have a lot of questions in their hearts, in their minds, they can never focus into this mission. I have a lot of moral attacks, professional attacks, psychological, mental tortures are everywhere. Yet, for 14 years, every second of my life is dedicated to this mission. I have laid down the structure that defeats even the entire world. How? Because I did the documentary. I did the basic thing in trying to let them understand. And this book is submitted indeed to the House of Congress, to the House of Senate, to the DFA, Department of Foreign Affairs, in all the major agencies, and even to the local governments in the entire Mindanao, Sulu, and Palawan. Basically, I have to do this to make the proper representation in legal, in political, in the military. So these 14 years, I have faced a lot of ridicule, assassination of morals. So all of this I surpass. Why? Because every time I wake up in the morning, I just say, Father, I have to do what is necessary. My obedience to Him with this unwavering faith has really made me stronger up to now. So by then, as I have laid down to you, the blood compact, that is the consolidation of all the armed groups all over. It is the components of the Moro National Liberation Front, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters, the NPA, the private armies of those high political entity in Mindanao, the so-called royalty that they have, because the political arena were given 50 years. And that 50 years made them the power that has been given to them as a loaned authority. By whom? By the Sultan of Sulu, and the power that controls the entire global earth. Because the true Sultan and the true heirs and successors did not show up until the Mafilindo is expired. So this expiration of the treaty, especially this agreement with the American entity, no, we call it the American society, because this is represented by a private one, that is John Carpenter, that has been represented in signing the treaty by the US government and the Sultan of Sulu. So this is the basic principle why I come out, because it is the American government that really controls the entire sovereign territory of the entire world. How? By putting wars, by putting really chaos in all the asset and properties of God, of Allah, which is the oil, the gas, the deuterium. So when there is gas, when there is oil, the American are there. What for? To put war, because they want to control the asset. That's how I became so powerful these days, because I laid down the structure on how to recover the entire asset of the Sultan of Sulu, of the Royal Hashemite, of the Philippine Islands. Therefore, the Philippine Federal Republic is intact, as I declared last June 19, on the birthday of the three fellow. I have really told myself, hey, this is the time. So what I hold the power, because I know what I am doing, and I can speak up boldly to the world that enough is enough. Return it to the source of origin, and I am here as the queen to give this equally to all sovereign people and the majority poor people of the entire globe. But first, of course, the family that has suffered enormously because of this conspiracy that had been initiated by the Philippine government, Malaysian government, Indonesian government, because of this Mapilindo, as authored even by the head of states, especially President Gloria Arroyo then, and W. Bush of the American government.
Wow, it's a lot of work for you to do all these things. And I can just imagine that you have been financially handicapped in trying to pull together all the loose ends and to try to, create a strong foundation. So how did you manage to, bypass or survive such humiliation that was thrown onto you, or ordeals and morals, professional attacks, all kinds of things that a human being just could not handle.
Well, that is the reason why I really thank friends that have supported me. Because on the first place, Princess Maya, Sister Princess, and Princess Radhaa, once you are chosen, there is no room for you to back up despite of nothingness. It is the resourcefulness of the Queen that made me persevere into this mission, that I was able to reach this very moment, 9:31 a.m., June 26, 2023, because every breath that I have is offered to God, to Allah, and to the resolution of this mission, which is the global financial crisis, the global climate change, the global health crisis, and the freedom of the majority poor that has been oppressed and suppressed, and by the control of this top political leaders of the world, because of our sovereign asset, the divine asset, which is the deuterium, the gold, the oil, the gold backups, the source of origin of all the currencies. So therefore, I have to be strong. I have to be firm, despite that I am already weakened by all of this moral attack, moral assassination, even my professional, because they didn't know that I have my own curriculum vitae to surpass them when they have to do something evil against me. That means I have my legal minds, because as a sovereign judge, I have made use of all those avenues that today I can impose justice to each and every one of them, because I hold that power which they do not have. And who gives me that power? It is the elder, the number one elder that holds the power of the, we call it the Rule 36. And I can, even as I say, put you into a terrible mess at all by messing out the holy mission that Queen Helen has handled since 2009.
Oh, thank you, Queen. Radhaa?
Wow, Queen, so much honor and respect for all you've gone through, and only a warrior of the light could continue as you have. I'd like to ask you about your timeline in releasing the funds for the Filipino people. Yeah, since you really truly do have the power and authority as the Queen of Maharlika.
Princess Radhaa and Princess Maya, what I did, which no human mind can fathom at all. I entered into all these people that say they are the sole signatory, people that say they control the world, people that say that they have the power over the finance. I have entered into all these people so that finally I could make a decision. Because I have to play my role. How am I going to put justice into them if I do not know them personally? If I don't know their schematic conspiracy, that even the government cannot deny that fact. Because as a judge, as a sovereign judge, I must know from A to Z what they have done, what causes the global collapse, what causes the severe oppression and suppression of the poor people of the entire global earth. So I have done my assignment. So the timeline is now being done the soonest that it could be, because I have ordered already, because of the collapse of the American currency, which has been used as before as the backup. They have depreciated, and even I know a lot of banks collapse. Why? Because they did not work it out with the true Sultan Absolute of whom they have a lot of debts to pay. They never paid the sovereign territory. In fact, it is the pipeline of the oil that they have made use because the powerful whirlpool of the Ligwasan Mars is the one putting all the pipeline of base up to Afghanistan, up to Russia, up to Kuwait, up to the Middle East, up to Borneo, and they have not given us our share as the source of power of all this oil and gas and deuterium. I thereby say to those people that say that they are the king of the deuterium, they are the king of the power that they have only, we call it baloney. And I told them, as I said, one day you shall face me and you will have to really have that kind of word which you cannot accept anymore because you have misled the entire global earth by putting yourself as an appointed, anointed. Well, many of them now are dead. Why? Because I asked the Creator, before they can mess up, before they can destroy, I pray that you take their life because we are implementing the divine government. Oh, you can see them. They're fighting me now. But I hold what I hold, and I can even put justice, whoever they are. Whoever they are. So the oil and gas as the source of origin, even the Petronas, all the American companies, the Aramco, they are indebted to the Sultan of Sulu and to the royal family of the royal Hashemite and of the Maharlika. They are all indebted. They have been covering us so that they have multiplied all the claimants for them to benefit the oil and gas. That's why woe to those claimants, Sultan Sulu. They are all stupid also. Why? Because they just took themselves into that category. Can they fight the world as I fight? They didn't know who is Queen Helen. I have labored day and night to really fight the conspiracy of the head of states all over the globe. Woe to them. Woe to them. They told me I am the stupid idiots, then I return it back to them. How far can you fight? You have succumbed into this war, Sabah standoff, Zamboanga standoff, as powered by the head of states of America, putting even the American fighters there in Ligwasan Mars, because they never imagined that I have my capacity to counter-investigate everything. So this book can put them to death, actually. This one. Because in 1 year and 6 months, I have already itemized all the conspiracy and the involved entity and personality into putting war and chaos in Mindanao, Sulu, Palawan, and the entire territory. So the oil and gas, the whirlpool, we call it the machine of the global earth. That is the foundation of the global earth. Makes the diamonds, the gold, the oil, the gas, and all minerals, including the aquatic and the agri-minerals. Just imagine how powerful the queen now in putting all this for the benefit of the poor people, not of the rich. They have enjoyed so much, but because of their suppression and oppression, I have to stop them. That's why I have made a lot of enemies, but no, they cannot, because once I take out their funds, they have nothing. Instead, I advise them to come and negotiate with the queen, because I hold what I hold, and God has sent me to put justice into this world.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's it's a lot of power there and authority. So yes, and I never heard anything about that in the Philippines oil and gas have a connection that goes even to Russia and places like that. So, wow. The last question that would like to know from you is that we've been hearing a lot about the Afghan refugees, supposedly refugees, but I've been hearing also that they work for the government and they're not actually the refugees. And the government of America wants them to, for the Philippines to take them on and provide them a place to be, while supposedly American government is trying to fix their situation to move to America. So a lot of Filipinos has been wondering why that is so, if they are actually workers for American government, and why can't American government process all their paperwork in America, because America is a larger place for them, and it's supposedly 50,000 of them would be landing in the Philippines, but that was not yet 100% accepted by the Filipino government or the people. So there's a talk going on. But I'd like to know, do you have other plans on resolving this issue in case of whatever the Philippine government decides to do with the Afghan refugees?
First, they don't have authority. The government, the president has no authority. Why? Because the treaty has ended and I have given them only 5 years grace period, and the transitory would end in September 16, 2023. They have to be careful this time because the rule of 36 is in my hands. And I have to remind them, enough is enough. BBM is succumbed to blackmail. Why? Because of his cases. America has to put something there as a pressure. And that is the mistake of this judicial, executive, and the political arena. They are only given how many months to continue? If they will have to do that, remember, Afghanistan was destroyed by America. And America is indebted to the Sultan of Sulu and to the Queen right now, because I hold that power. The Afghan is not a refugee at all. It is a mechanics to overrule. That is a shadow to penetrate. I'm sorry, Bongbong. I had been into this study into my life. You've got to be very careful. Why? Do not be a puppet like Gloria Arroyo. But since you too want to buy them, so what else could I think of? Am I stupid? Or you are stupid? Why? Because this is a platform they have done. They kept on warring Sulu, Maguindanao, to be able to control Liguas and Mars. But our enchanted is very strong. Our Incan spirit is very strong. Our elders, and that is the domain of Angel Gabriel. Angel Gabriel, our City Mariam, and the Buhawe. That's why every time you are penetrating that area, I send off the wind, because I have to deal with you in the incant policy, in the enchanted power and authority. This is now the deception that the Philippine government in alliance with America. I'm sorry to say, because it is the American government who really do not like me, because the truth will come out. Why? Because they had been the puppets. Ramos, they put it to death, but they have been creating another duplicate. They had been creating, I was waiting if they will declare Gloria Arroyo dead, because or else I will be the one to hang her to death for putting all this. I am bold enough now because I hold that power. And that is the reason why I told the Philippine government to recognize me, or else they'll lose everything. Now, where I am now, they will benefit of what I am doing. Because they are all crazy. They had been doing the conspiracy at the expense of the poor people. Now, if they will let the Afghans stay, that is a silent war. That is intra. They have defied the international relation. They have defied the United Nations School. They have defied the royalty law. And the royalty law will stand. I remind them all. That's why I left the country, because I know that there is this eventuality that they will do this in the premise that they will have to control the source of power of the oil and gas, which is liqueous on Mars. And I hold that power. They cannot get it because I have my alien to do that for me. When you say alien, this is a cosmic power. This is an intergalactic power, and they don't know that I am still the queen of the universal magnum. I have my structure done. I have laid down the superpowers. If they will not help me, then I have still the power that God has given me. They have made use of the Islam to kill. The true Islam is not a killer. They are peace-loving people. But because of the American, the Vatican involvement, because without the Sultan of Sulu, there is no backup for Vatican. That is the crucial point. Why I have known that when I was a Dominican. But I'm trying to protect even the church. But if they will not come into terms with the Queen of the Federal Republic of Maharlika, what else would happen to them? They failed to recognize me on the right time that I am asking. Now the complications set in. Who will be going to jail? It's the caretaker. Because there is a power above them. That is the power that has been given to the queen to put peace and prosperity, not to be enslaved again. Because the tier 1, that is the royal family in the finance. The tier 2, we have the government. Okay, they have made use of that. The tier 3, we have the religious and the Native American. That's why this Jews, they have control over us. Now the tier 4 and 5 cannot kick off without the queen. Why? That is the power and authority now that they didn't know. Because the forefathers are alive. And I am sent, didn't know that. They didn't know that. They never predicted the movement of the queen because I remained as a simple being in front of them, despite of being attacked, despite of being criticized, despite of being ostracized, despite of being suppressed and oppressed. You know, when someone would like to help me, they would go to that lady or to that man. Do not ever help her because she cannot pay. But this time I can tell them, you better be careful because I can buy whatever I want. Now, how am I going to give that funds? I have appointed teams, but the teams, if cannot perform, then another team has to come in, another team has to come in because the delay. I have been humble and I'm calling them now because they didn't know that the queen works day and night silently as advised by the enchanted, by the Incan spirit to manage the oil and gas, the gold, diamonds as the source of backup for the new currency to take off, the 4th tier, 5th tier A to come out. So that is now for the poor people to survive. And I thank them. I thank America. But who is really trying to do the sabotage? That's the one I am stopping.
Great. Well, this sounds really
Happy
good.
birthday, princess.
Thank you. All right. So, Radha, is there any more questions you'd like to ask? We can't hear you.
I'm good. I just want to know, Well, Maya, do you have another question to ask her?
I think the Queen has answered everything that I'd like to hear because it's very concise. And thank you, Queen, for your very well thought of answers to all these amazing questions, because I didn't know much about all these other things that you talked about. So I really appreciate this. And yeah, thank you again.
Yes, scientifically speaking, you can have all this. We have scientists assigned already. They cannot touch, because Liguasan is an inverted volcano. They can never touch that. That is the haven of our forefathers.
Mm.
They cannot. That's why all of this can be researched.
Mhm.
All of this, we have secrets to be unfolded,
Mhm.
to be unraveled, because they have hide this in the people for them to benefit. That's why they have made wars. World War One is to bring in the gold from the West. World War II is to bring in all those golds and the looted wealth they have with the Southeast Asia. But the original plan is to take over the source of oil and gas, which is more powerful, and that is the domain of the Black Fatima. That is the black gold. So Queen now becomes powerful because of the Black Fatima. I have to do this. I have to put this rule into law for the sake of the new generation. We could have been invaded already by other aliens, but because we are in harmony with the good aliens, so therefore we survive. So I thereby ask the conspiracy of the NASA and all of these things, it will be unraveled. But scientifically speaking, as I designed all this, I'm sure that the government will come into terms with a true governmental process. So the international relation, even those designed to put peace and order. So I am asking all my allied Interpol to arrest all those that misrepresent the power that is embedded with Lupasu and with Maharlika. That is the only way that we can cleanse the mechanics in releasing the funds.
Beautiful. And this is what the universe wants us to do. It's a cleansing time. I remember what my grandmother said when she said that the time will come when the cleansing will take place on planet Earth. And I believe that this is the time when we're passing through the stages of moving the divine government to be held by the righteous, benevolent beings like yourself and King Mamai. So I'm grateful, because a lot of people could use this help as soon as possible, that they let go of their handcuffs that they're dominating over this. So thank you, Sis Quinn, and thank you, Radha.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate. If the Queen is excited, the Queen would like to bring out the truth, because I want to save the poor. The poor majority has suffered more than enough. I became poor to be able to know the plight of the poor. I have to be attacked to be able to know how to put justice. I let all these things to happen because I want to be immersed with you, with the enchanted, with the Incan, and even with the Lemurian, of whom I am deeply connected to help serve the entire global earth. They are listening, Princess Maya. They are listening. I know that with this, to be able to speak boldly to the entire world, they have made that power in me, because no one else can do this. I've been running away from this. But once you say yes, there is no room for regrets. I'll just wait my reward one day when I am with him. That's all I want. And I want my children to grow up as we are. so that they will be leading the new generation as good king and queens of the next generation.
Mabuhay. Yes.
Thank you so much, Queen. It's just such an honor to have the sacred space with you and to share with everyone else. I'm grateful that so much is coming through, because I think these explanations are very important. You know, a lot of people don't understand where you're coming from. So this is beautiful. And we thank you for your courage, your tenacity, for all that you stand for. It's such a blessing to have a divine warrior, goddess, queen, and that's a living, breathing, and, you know, doing the work. We know that it's not easy and that there's a lot of sacrifice involved, but you are well loved and honored and appreciated. And one day we will be celebrating together. Thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you so much also, and mabuhay. God bless
Mabuhay.
everyone.
Bye for now.